Hi friends, today I'm going to be talking about consistency in content creation. We've probably heard varying things and opinions on this topic. There are some people who say it's totally okay to skip a day, to skip a week on content creation, and then we have others that say absolutely not. You need to push on no matter what. Today I'm going to tell you my thoughts on consistency in content creation, when it's okay to miss a day and when it's not. You're listening to the Optimize Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Barnes. I'm a customer journey marketing strategist, and I help you maximize sales by optimizing the customer experience. If you guys don't know, I actually record a video version of the podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you notice like the sun was in my face that first few seconds. I decided to just keep it in there because I don't feel like re-recording. Well, once I have a really good take and I try to do it again, it just doesn't work. So I've kept that little clip in there in the beginning. Today is going to be a little bit not as clean cut as it usually is. I am recording this at the 11th hour. And again, this goes to my point on consistency. You need to show up even if you don't want to. This is not to say that I do not enjoy what I do. This is mostly to go towards my state of mind as of right now. Right now, I have a migraine that I can feel is coming on. And normally people would say, okay, we have a migraine. This is not the place to be recording a podcast, but it is. And I'm going to tell you why. Right now, I have less than 10 episodes in the podcast, so to be skipping an episode this early on isn't ideal. You want to establish that consistency with your client base at the very beginning. You want to make sure that you're doing it for, I want to say maybe 3 months at least before you start skipping episodes. Ideally, we do not want to skip episodes at all, but in the beginning, we really do not want to be skipping for 2 reasons. Number one, we want to establish that rapport with our audience. We want to make sure that they're showing up at the same time that we're showing up. So if they expect to hear an episode on a Tuesday, then make sure to drop that episode on a Tuesday. The other half of this is to establish that habit. And this part is absolutely key. You want to make sure that you get into the habit of doing the habit. Now, there are some podcasters out there who have thousands of episodes already and they skip they skip a couple weeks or they even skip a whole month, but they have a whole back library of content and they tend to pick right back up where they left off. Whereas if you're a newer podcaster or newer content creator, you want to make sure that you're getting into the habit of creating that content, even if you don't feel like it. This is the time where you need to push through. When you're new, your audience is new, and you don't have that rapport yet, establishing that rapport and establishing that habit are critical in the early days of your content creation process. Now, I may be new to the whole content creation process in terms of this particular podcast, but I am not new to habits. In fact, I've established a few habits over the years that I've kept consistently for at least 2 or 3 years and have maintained nearly every single day. And today I'm going to share you some of the tips to help keep those habits. There are 2 main habits that I keep up with every single day. The first one is 10,000 steps. I make sure to get those 10,000 steps every single day. And the second one is to make sure that I incorporate a 20-minute exercise in the morning every single day. Now, the 20-minute exercise one actually helps me get those 10,000 steps. So they kind of go hand in hand together. I can't get the 10,000 steps without doing the 20-minute exercise. Now, one of the biggest things that helps me stay on track with those 10,000 steps is my why. Why am I doing this? Part of the reason why I keep up with this is because I need it for my health. I need it to maintain my thyroid system and my mental health. If I do not get those steps, then I know that I am slacking off or backtracking, and that's the last thing I want. I've been in a period where I was a little bit more overweight than I usually am, and I had a lot of thyroid related issues, and they were absolutely terrible. I absolutely hate the feeling of having that extra weight on and the feeling of not being able to breathe, along with a whole host of other issues that I will not go into here. But I really, really did not like the consequences of being out of shape. So what I did is I started making sure that I did 10,000 steps a day and incorporated that 20-minute exercise in the beginning. And that 20-minute exercise in the beginning helps kind of jumpstart my day. Now, a lot of us have a good reason why we should be exercising or why we should start any habit. Now, the reason why a lot of people fail is that the consequences are not as drastic as simply not doing the habit. If you skip an exercise today, you don't necessarily feel the impact of it the next day. you actually don't feel the impacts of it until much later. This is also why when it comes to food, we tend to go ahead and binge on that cheeseburger or that cheesecake or your favorite food, whatever it is. And we binge on it today because we don't necessarily feel the after effects the very next day. All of these after effects are delayed. And so the more delayed that the consequences are, the less likely we are afraid of them. On the other hand, if I said, if you take a bite of that cheeseburger, you're going to gain those 10 pounds today, obviously that'll give us much more motivation not to indulge in that cheeseburger. And same when it comes to content creation. If I said you were going to lose all of your followers if you didn't post today, then you're going to be a lot more motivated to create that content if you're going to lose all of your followers all in one fell swoop. Now, because we don't feel the effects of our hard work until later, we need something that's going to get us motivated to post today, something that's going to keep us motivated to do our workout today. And one of those things is accountability. Now, I know I won't get in trouble if I don't post this podcast by 12 p.m. tomorrow, but I know that I've said I'm going to be posting every Tuesday at 12, so I need to make sure that I stick true to my word. I want to make sure that what I say is what I do, and showing that your actions align with what you say helps you be a lot more trustworthy. Now, when it comes to the exercise part of this and how I get those 10,000 steps a day, what really motivates me is at the end of the day, I share on a different Instagram, my fitness and health Instagram. I share that I've gotten those 10,000 steps, that I've gotten those 20 minutes of exercise every day, and being able to come on at the end of every night and say that I did it, have a little check mark to show everybody I did it. That's very, very motivating. Now, there's nobody that's going to come after me and be like, hey, you didn't get your 10,000 steps today, or hey, you didn't do your 20-minute exercise. Like, there's nobody that's going to do that. But I know that if I miss a few days, people are going to notice. And so I want to make sure that I'm keeping consistent and that I'm staying true to my audience and my followers and letting them know that I am staying on track. I am keeping up with my health. At the end of the day, posting on Instagram is kind of gimmicky. So you really need something that's a little bit more intrinsic that gets you motivated to do the things that you need to do. A lot of the tips that I'm talking about regarding habits comes from Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a book that has helped me a lot when it comes to habits and keeping consistent, and a book that I think is going to help you a lot too. At the core of it, if you don't believe that you're a content creator, if you don't believe that you're a small business owner, or you don't believe in what you're doing, at the end of the day, you're not going to do the things that you need to be doing. So if you've been struggling for a while now to create content, to work on your business, really ask yourself, is this business right for you? Is the business model right for you? Or is being an entrepreneur exactly the route that you want to go? Sometimes the answer may be no, and that's something that only you can answer, but just something to really think about as to why you're not being consistent with your content creation or consistent with your business practices. Now, let's say we've gotten over the hurdle of whether or not we want to be a business owner, and we're absolutely set. This is what we need to be doing. This is the path we should take. Now, what are our next steps? Now, a tip that has helped me a lot when it comes to my 10,000 steps and the 20-minute daily exercise is setting aside that time every single day at the same time of day. And this is no weekends, no breaks, no nothing, no vacations, no whatever. With the very sole exception of, let's say, major surgery or, something of that nature. There was one day where I actually was admitted to the ER and I absolutely could not do what it is that I needed to do. But barring anything like that, you want to make sure that you're setting that time aside to show up every single day. So whether I've had an early morning flight or, I'm in a different city or whatever, I make sure that I set aside that time every single time. The reason why is because when we skip a session, when I skip a workout, when I skip anything, I get out of rhythm. And when I do it every day, it becomes a rhythm, and my body actually tells me that if you don't do it, if I don't do it, something feels off, something feels weird. And so I've built it into my system to expect to work out early in the morning. I work out early in the morning because this is the time of day where I have the fewest distractions and the least amount of things that pop up. I used to try to work out a little bit later in the evening and the afternoon, but it turns out that, things come in the way. There's an appointment, there's this, there's that. Whereas in the morning, I have the fewest distractions and the least amount of issues that pop up randomly in the morning. So find a time of day that works best for you where you're interrupted the absolute least and can get the most out of whatever it is that you need to do for that day. So same time every day, no exceptions until you've established that habit. Now, it may sound extreme, but you have to be extreme in the beginning. If you're not extreme, you will never develop that habit. We talk about people who are successful, they do the things that nobody else wants to do. And if you're doing the things that everybody else does, then you're not going to see the same amount of success that successful people do, because successful people do what other people won't do. And you hear this time and time again. One of the things when it comes to habits, I got this from Mel Robbins. She talks about how just doing the reps, just putting in the work. When it comes to achieving your goals, a lot of it is boring. And when she said this absolutely hit home. When you put in these reps, it's going to be boring. It's not going to be exciting. Like saying you've accomplished and written a book is really, really exciting, but to sit down and just take an hour or even 5 minutes every single day just to write a paragraph, right? Write a page, write a chapter. Sitting down, doing the work every single day becomes monotonous. It is boring. Once you've accepted the fact that this is not exciting, then I think you can kind of move on and just kind of get the work done. Just accept that it is going to be boring some days. It's not going to be fun and exciting 24/7. The process of writing a book is not as exciting as publishing a book. And we need to understand that you need to go through the process in order to get to the result. So just accept that the process isn't going to be pretty. It's going to be kind of boring. It's not going to be the most exciting thing in the world. But those who can understand that, and those who can get through that monotony, those who can get through that boredom, those are the ones that are going to see the results, and those are the ones that see the success. I've touched on this a little bit earlier in the podcast, but I want to expand on it a little bit here, and that is accountability. Earlier, I talked about how I posted my 10,000 step update in Instagram every single evening, and now I want to talk about accountability when it comes to business. One of the things that has helped me tremendously in forward progress in my business is accountability and accountability groups. The most effective accountability groups are the ones that actually I have paid into. Now, you can easily create accountability groups for free, but the ones where people pay in to be part of like a group, then those are the ones that I see the most success in, because the other people have a little bit of, I don't like saying the word skin in the game, but skin in the game. So they've invested into a product or program and they want to see the return on their investment. And so they're much more likely to show up than a free accountability group. So one of the groups that I'm in, we meet every Wednesday. We used to meet every Wednesday and now we meet every other Wednesday. And I'm actually finding that the every Wednesday meeting every week is a lot more powerful than it is to show up every other week, because every other week we kind of lose a little bit of momentum. We gain it back the next week, but it's a little bit harder. But when it comes to accountability groups, one of the reasons why it's such a great place to kind of generate that momentum and keep the momentum going is because you are sharing updates with other people in your group. When you share those updates, there's a sense of pride and accomplishment. And when you don't have an update, there's a sense of like, what's the word? You don't want to disappoint your members, even though the other people in the group won't be disappointed. Just showing up and saying you didn't do anything the last week or last couple of weeks, then it feels like a little bit of a failure. And we don't want to feel like a failure. So we'll do everything we can to make sure that we do something before we show up to the next group meeting. The other great thing about these accountability groups is that it also allows a space for you to kind of unpack some of your challenges and issues that you've been facing the previous week. So for example, if you weren't able to record that podcast or you weren't able to finish creating that module in the course that you wanted, this is a time and space that's safe for you to say, hey, I didn't complete the module that I wanted to work on last week. And the reason for that is blank. And you can talk through that with your other members, and what they can do is they can encourage you to say, hey, it's okay that you've missed a week. Here are some things that you can do to help move forward. If X has been showing you to be a problem consistently the past few weeks, then maybe try doing Y instead. And they kind of give you this space to kind of see what's going on, and it helps you pivot in a new direction to kind of help you get unstuck and move forward. Something that we often do whenever we get stuck in the online marketing process is we tend to purchase a new course. So let's say we have a problem with content creation. So we buy that shiny new podcast course, or we buy that course about Instagram. And so these courses pile up and pile up because we're hoping that they have some sort of magic solution or magic bullet to help us get unstuck when it comes to content creation. When really what we really need is feedback and accountability. We want to make sure that what we're doing is correct, and we need that guidance. And also we need that accountability to make sure that we keep going. And this, my friends, is where I extend my invitation to you to join the Optimized Online community. Now, as of the recording of this podcast, it is not currently open. However, you can go to optimizedonlinecommunity.com and sign up for the waitlist there. But in this community, we're going to get you the accountability that you're looking for. We're going to help you get unstuck. We're going to help get you feedback, direct one-on-one feedback straight from me on any sales page or marketing asset where you feel like, hey, I need to buy another course. Listen, I'm going to look at it and I'll let you know if maybe you need a little bit more guidance, as such as an online course, or maybe you just need a YouTube video, but I'm going to help you troubleshoot exactly why it's not working. And then we're also going to have the accountability piece. We're going to have every week, we're going to have check-ins to make sure that you're on track to where you want to be and where you need to be going. So if you're somebody who keeps getting stuck, really needs that accountability and really needs that guidance to show exactly, hey, am I on the right track? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? I am here to help you. I'm here to help clarify exactly what you should be doing, who you should be helping, what you need to be doing, and help you stay accountable to the goals that you set for yourself. If you're interested in this, again, all you have to do is sign up for the waitlist at Optimized Online Community. We're going to be opening our doors on April 1st. This is not a joke. It literally is going to be opening April 1st. It just happens to be the date that coincides with the launch. But you can go ahead and join us there. And if you're listening to this after April 1st, then obviously you can go ahead and join us inside there. Now, if you want to join me before we open up the doors to the Optimized Online community, we have our Optimized Sales Page Challenge. And here you can start getting feedback right away during this free challenge. We're going to be working on our sales page, and any assets related to the sales page, you can drop into the Facebook community and I will be reviewing them personally and giving you my feedback on where you can improve. So if you want to kind of test drive the community before you join us for the Optimized Sales Page Challenge. You can sign up at optimizedsalespage.com. All right, folks, thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this enjoyable. Please share with your friends. Tag me on Instagram at Stacey Barnes Co. If you are on Instagram, let me know what you thought, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.